So looking at recording for RTK Rover, right here we have a NavMax specifically for that, a government document made for it. Looking at the top, we have job name along with some additional info, the serial numbers, team chief, recorder, base info, and then the actual points that we measured as a rover. So a lot of this right off the bat is going to be done on the fly. You should be doing this while you're recording, preferably. So looking at the top, job name, that's literally exactly what you named the job when you were conducting the survey. Looking at the TSE3 up top, you can see job, I have it open still, 2020-0714 space RTK. That is exactly what I'm going to write down in the job name. In case you're wondering, this is the exact information that I pulled from my previous videos, how to set up a RTK base and rover and how to measure points with them using RTK. So this is still in line with those previous videos. So our job name, that's good. Team chief and recorder. So the team chief is going to be whoever is actually in charge of your team. It's either going to be yourself or another Marine next to you, probably. For me, I just put somebody else in here. I put a fake name, Private Smokatelli. I'm the team chief. The date is going to be the date that you actually conducted the job. Another reason why it's kind of useful to put the date in the job name. So if you have to come back to it or record later on, you remember exactly what the date was. I've even seen folks put job name as a date and a time followed by some other naming convention. Then we're looking at the horizontal datum, the grid zone, UTM grid zone, the vertical datum, and the geoid model. This is all information that you put into play when you created your job template. In case you don't remember this information off the top of your head, I'll show you where we can find it. So looking at the general survey menu in the TSE3, we have the job that we're recording for open. I'll go ahead and play it. We'll open up jobs any day, and then we'll go into properties of job. And then we'll go into the coordinate system. Just select it. Select from library next. We're not going to save any of this. And this screen right here, we have the system, the zone, the datum, use geoid model, and the geoid model itself. Notice the zone again is 14 north, where traditionally where we are in Fort Sill is 14 Sierra. This means 14 north of the equator. So there's two types of 14s, north or south of the equator. We are 14 north, therefore that is what we're going to record on our sheet, 14N. Then looking back at the screen, the datum, it's talking about the horizontal datum, is going to be WGS 1984. Here I have WGS 84, it's abbreviated. I will accept the abbreviated or the full version. I know what both are. And then we have use geoid model and the geoid model itself. So what that means is our vertical datum is going to be the geoid, and this is the model of that geoid that we are using. Now that we got that recorded, we're going to look at the receiver type, handheld type, antenna type. So unless something changes in the future, your receiver type is always going to be the M7, the handheld is always going to be the TSE3, and the antenna is always going to be the Zephyr. I'm sure that will change one day, but as of right now, that's completely accurate. And then it's followed by a slash and the serial number. So either you put this into your job if you had the time, or you didn't. Either way, you can still get that same gear out. You can find the serial number off the TSE3 underneath the battery. The M7, it's just on the back side of the M7. And then the antenna, it's underneath the antenna on the bottom side of it. So you record all that information in. Then we're going to look at actually finally recording the base's info that was sent to us via radio from the base to the rover, and then the actual point that we named and marked. So the one thing you want to make sure that you established whether you were a 2.1 position height for RTK or a 2.0, meaning did you have the quick release adapter on or did you have it removed? We had ours on when I did the video demonstration, so my antenna height is going to be 2.1 meters, and we named it OS1. So to actually find that, looking at the video, you go back into with the job open, we go into jobs and then point manager for this specific job, and this is what we have. We have the OS1 and PE1. PE1 is going to be the base's info. OS1 is going to be the marked position info. You may have multiple marked positions. For my example, I only did one. So either it displays the easting northing elevation for you here, or what you can do at the bottom of the screen, you can select display and select grid, and that's going to display the easting northing elevation on this screen for you. Or if not, you can just select the point, go into the details, and there you have an easting, a northing, and elevation to record. So I'm going to take this, the point name, easting, northing, elevation, and that's going to go down here. These are my measured points. So the name, exactly what it says in the TSE3, caps and all, caps, spaces, numbers, everything. Exactly what it says in there, OS1, no spaces, all lowercase. The easting and northing, including the decimal places and the false easting and northing, meaning that 5 and that 3/8. The elevation in meters, and then if you were establishing, let's say, an OS and EOL, there's a point here for you to put in an azimuth mark and an azimuth to the azimuth mark. I didn't do that, so I'm just putting NAs here. So that's the recorded information, the measured points. Now let's find the base info. So moving on, you can also look through the point. You can hit the multiple pages, look at some additional info, how many satellites you had, what the actual precisions of the point were. If we press escape, we'll select the base point, the PE TAC 1, PE underscore 1, and again we have the easting, northing, and elevation. So I'm going to take that info, put it up here, base name exactly as it stated in the TSE3, the easting, the northing, and the elevation in meters. Lastly, horizontal and vertical precisions. Back in the template, or at least in the general setup, I believe it was either the template or the actual RTK style, you literally set the horizontal vertical precisions. For my example, we selected auto, so that's what we're going to have here, auto. Even though each one of these points have technically their own horizontal and vertical positions, as far as this is concerned, it's just going to be auto. So after we get the base info in, this whole header info should be completely filled out. My measured points are completely filled out. And if I'm done with that base for the day, if I'm not recording anything else, if this is the end of the survey, then I'm going to put a strike through this form, just like I would on a duty logbook. I'd put NFE, my name, my rank, my signature, the date, USMC, right? NFE as in no further entries. And that's how I would close out this box right here. The remarks section is exactly what it sounds like. Any remarkable information that might have came about, you can put in there. Maybe the exact time that you started the RTK survey, the exact time that you ended it, might be helpful in certain situations as far as a date and a time. Maybe Private Schmuckatelli kicked the tripod leg on the base station, didn't tell anybody, so that would make this whole survey nil. You could put that in remarks. Anything that might be nice to know for future surveyors looking at this form. And that's it. So if you get any questions, please let me know.